from 1983 in Sears or SR Sears Roebuck. This is the 2100 series mini boombox cassette recorder, AM, FM, Shortwave 1, Shortwave 2, for speaker mini boombox. We have two condenser internal mics here, AC/DC power, two-way for speaker, 100, 210, 240 volts. Top line AM, FM, Shortwave 2, Shortwave 1. Shortwave 2 is 7.5 to 23 megahertz. Shortwave 1 is 2.3 to 7 megahertz. We have our two, I think they're 3-inch speakers here. A couple of small piezo tweeters there. We have a record level indicator and battery indicator tally light that will come on, and an FM stereo light that will come on too. And I'm taking this as 1983 because of the FCC ID on the back I looked up, which indicates it was made by Sanyo. On the top we have our volume, tone, high and low, and balance left and right. Our function, tape or switch it up for radio, a record mute button, normal cassette controls, stop, eject, pause, fast forward, rewind, play, and record. And it has APSS, which stands for Automatic Program Search System. This means if you're playing a song and you want to go back to the last song on the tape and you have that depressed and you depress your reverse, it'll find the last song if there's enough space between the two songs. And if you want to go forward to the next song, you press the forward, and once again, if there's enough space between the songs, it'll find the next one. My fast forward on here is really dumpy, so not only does fast forward itself hardly work, it doesn't work in conjunction with this. But the rewind is really good, so I think we'll be able to do some checking on that. Here we have our stereo and mono switch and our station control and our fine tuning. Now you notice there's some very small markings here that say AM, Shortwave 1, Shortwave 2, FM. They're barely visible. That's because there's nothing here. You have to turn these things on from the back, which is really a nuisance to change your channel bands. We also have an antenna here and a handle. Around the left side, jacks for a left and right microphone and earphones, AC power and DC power. And I don't know how, but for decades this thing has been hanging on here. Apparently was never removed. I got this at an estate sale quite a while back. Said this is factory adjusted for 120 volts AC, 50 or 60 hertz. Then around back, here's that switch to find FM, Shortwave 2, Shortwave 1, AM, medium wave. We have a battery compartment here. Takes 5 C cells. And our pertinent information here, made in Korea. There's that FCC ID number I looked up and saw it was a Sanyo product. And here's the little universal voltage selector you can set for your various voltages. Okay, well, I thought I'd start our look around with the shortwave band. We're on shortwave 2 at 10 megahertz, so we're going to see if we can pick up the atomic clock, Fort Collins, Colorado this morning.
At the building, 16 hours, 37 minutes. Coordinated universal time.
Seems to be right. Alright, let's try switching the band selector to FM. Turn it around here, which is a pain. I think when I showed this earlier, I was out of frame. So here's the AC jack and the DC jack, in case you were dead set on seeing those. And also, although this is the SR2100, it actually has a specific model number, the 564.2105-0350. There were many, many, many things marked SR2100. So, get that to FM. You'd think after a while I'd get used to figuring it out, reaching over the top, but I never do. I always go the wrong way.
That's not going to happen. I'll get to that in a minute. I want you to hear this from...
Where were you? Where were you? Lost in this.
We're down here, by the way, we're at 92.
Calendar I had. Cover up my ears and never let me hear a sound. I want love to forget that you offended me. Oh, how you have defended me when everybody tore me down. Yeah, I want love.
Just fiddling with the tone and the balance.
It's a ridiculous situation to think folks that don't have any training to do so. It's a very small amount of money, but it was a significant offering from the Canadians. Beyond that,
you notice the FM stereo light is on. We have reached the bottom. Okay, I'm not going to go back up and do the higher part of the band on the other side of the shortwave where we were. Just go down to the bottom there, and then we'll turn around once again and switch to AM, or medium wave, as they indicate, for those countries that called it that. So now we're up here like 5:30. This is pretty interesting. This radio, most of my radios don't get anything below 700. Once again, this is a pretty sensitive radio, just not very selective. The quality will start getting better after 700.
Guessing, right? You go, man, I guess I should have said something. And we all tend, unless we see something that's extreme,
It's probably
to think
WLW in
it's not a big
Cincinnati.
deal, but, you know.
Should get a Latino station here.
Whether Christian...
A massive problem of homelessness here in the Los
in the opener were games that they established leads.
From here on out, we're sports and politics, top of the band.
Wonderful.
And then you had these women who maybe didn't know better. Or you had...
First John.
Grunt wherever he goes, no matter what. You know, and then in the red zone...
Days I prove I was born blonde.
But with God.
This is interesting. This is my Latino station at the top of the band. And if you remember in my Aileron radio video recently, I was picking up something on the lower end of the Marine band. And I couldn't figure out what it was. It sounded shortwave, as this kind of does. It sounds like what I'd find on a shortwave. And what I really was, when I looked at the things, this was actually picking up 1.6 megahertz, which is kilohertz, excuse me, 1600 kilohertz on that. So AM, FM, typical stuff. Let's see if I can set up for some cassette work. All right, we'll try recording a little bit off the radio, hear what that sounds like. Tape goes in, supply side on the right, heads are at the top, and we do have a counter. At some point in here, I'm going to press the record mute button and see if that works. Might as well try that right now. Okay, we'll see if that worked. We'll stop. Rewind. Put this on the tape recorder and play. Okay, I guess that's where I pressed record mute. So it does work, records off the radio. Doesn't have the greatest sound, I don't think. Let's set up for microphone recording. Okay, for our first microphone test, I think we'll try the internal microphones, which I suspect are behind those little embellishments there. But I have to admit, I'm not sure. Alright, this is a test of the SR2100 series mini boombox. I can see I am getting some recording deflection here, so looks like it's picking something up. We'll have to stop and play this back and hear what we're getting. I think I said that the internal microphones might be behind here, but I've kind of inspected those pretty closely and I don't see any obvious small hole or anything, but they have to be back there because those are the little speakers. SR2100 series mini boombox. I can see I am getting some recording deflection here, so Looks like it's picking something up. We'll have to stop and play this back and hear what we're getting. I think I said that the internal microphones might be behind here, but I've kind of inspected those pretty closely and I don't see any obvious small hole or anything, but they have to be back there, because those are the little speakers. All right, let me set up for some microphones. All right, I have these two small microphones plugged into the left and right mic jacks. I can see I got to get pretty close to get some good meter deflection, so I don't know how this will sound. As I move it farther and farther away, I don't get much, do I? I've got a sunny angle here. It's a little hard for me to see that. But we can check and see if the automatic level control for these mics is any good and how it sounded vis-a-vis the internal mics. Left and right mic jacks. I can see I got to get pretty close to get some good meter deflection, so I don't know how this will sound. As I move it farther and farther away, I don't get much, do I? I've got a sunny angle here. It's a little hard for me to see that. But we can check and see if the automatic level control for these mics is any good and how it sounded vis-a-vis the internal mics. Little speaker. Well, okay, some might have to do with the distance I was from the mics, but in this instance I thought the internal recording system sounded better than the two microphones. Alright, let me set up and try some pre-recorded tapes and stuff. Alright, I thought for a pre-recorded tape we'll try a little Tina Turner, a very little for copyright reasons, but maybe enough to get an idea what it sounds like.
Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? May seem to you.
Alright, I'm going to try that automatic program search system and see if it finds the previous track.
I've got cause to be. There's a name for it.
It might just go back to the start of this one. Yep. Wonder if we can get it go back to one before that. It's probably the first one on the tape. So the APSS does work. It's just my fast forward is so funky by itself or using the APSS. I can get it to work sometime if I keep my finger on the button very carefully. It goes a little bit, but it obviously has belt issues for fast forward. Sometimes I can't get it to do something. And that's what a pre-recorded cassette sounds like. So this has been the 1983 Sanyo made Sears and Roebuck 2100 series mini boombox. Got a lot of features on it. 2 shortwave bands. That's a little unusual for a mini boombox. 4 speakers. Kind of universal voltage control. Automatic program search system. Radio is sensitive but not very selective. And the cassette is old and needs a new fast forward belt and probably the other belts. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed for more videos about old consumer electronics and other things, please subscribe. Bye.